As of 2025, total student debt in America is at $1.8 trillion. It's roughly tripled in the last 17 years. According to a Pew Research analysis of those who took on student debt to get a degree, roughly a third say the financial toll that debt has taken outweighs the benefits.
I have an outrageous student loan of $163,000.
I have $300,000 in student loans.
I have student loans that total just over $1 million.
You're kidding me.
According to the Department of Education, about 1 in 6 Americans have outstanding federal student loan debt.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. There's a crisis. There's a ton of student loan debt that we the people have subsidized. I'm starting to see it rear its ugly head again with those of you that refuse to pay your student loan back. Just this week, I've already had to turn 3 people down because you guys have chosen not to repay your student loan debt. Not only are people not realizing how it's going to affect them, not just with mortgage loans, it's destroying your credit score. So think about renting homes if you have to rent, if you don't want to buy, job prospects. These are things that you're not thinking about because you feel like the system has cheated you. And then in the end of the video, as always, we're going to provide some solutions and hopefully prevent some of you from taking on this debt, because in most cases, not worth the money that you are investing, and the return is not there for your future self. Buckle up and let's check out the rest of the video.
Bankers would never loan an 18-year-old money. If a kid went in 18 years old and said, I want to borrow $140,000 to start a business, they would get laughed out of there because the banker's looking at them going, no, they're not going to pay it back. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're getting into. But yet our federal government has decided this is a brilliant idea.
Yeah, Mr. Ramsey's right on this one. You couldn't get $1 from a bank if you were a teenager, young adult, and you go in with a business plan that's making money. They still won't lend you money. However, you could take someone that has never been to college, first generation person going to college. They seem to kind of prey on those types of families. And I have my thoughts on why, but they will lend hundreds of thousands of dollars to these folks. And you have to ask yourself why. Well, it's like everybody else on the planet. Everybody's trying to get to the purse of the United States government. You haven't stolen until you can get to the government and get to all of the money. And so I understand in theory why some of these folks say, hey, I'm not paying back the bill, but you got to think further down the road. Who is it hurting? It's hurting you again, because you need credit, and these things will allow you to move within the system. I didn't make the system. I don't necessarily agree with the system, but it is what it is. So you have to learn how to navigate. And so back to the topic of the video, you got to start asking yourself, should I be going to school? Should I let my child go to school for this? And that starts in elementary school. Are you paying attention to these kids? Do they have the chops? Do they have the ability, not just to say they're going to get an experience and buy jerseys and all the fraternities and sororities and all that stuff, only to find out that there's a student loan debt crisis when you have to pay that bill back with interest. So these are the things that we have to start thinking about before. Now, if you're in this crisis, we're going to provide some solutions, but you got to stick to the end. Let's keep going.
Though the loans, all backed by taxpayer dollars, are enough to cause years of financial hardship, it's interest, a detail often overlooked by borrowers, that can make these debts nearly insurmountable.
My original loans taken out in total were $56,083, and currently we have a balance of $63,790.82.
Of course they don't understand exactly. Now, some more than others, but I mean, all they want to do is go to school and, sign right here. And that's the extent of their analysis.
What about parents? What's the role of a guardian or a parent kind of advising these kids into what can be a lifelong financial obligation?
When you're 17, 18 years old, it's mom and dad it's a good thing for them to be involved in your life. Hello. And if you're looking at this and going, my daughter's going to a school she can't afford, going $240,000 in debt to get a degree in left-handed puppetry, she's going to be a well-financed barista when this is over. And I love her enough to say, no, that's dumb. You're not going to do that.
Man, Uncle Dave could cut you. A well-financed barista, but he's spitting facts. And so, honor thy father and thy mother, so that your days upon the earth might be long. What commandment is that? For all you scholars out there, put it down in the comment section. Young folks, you got to listen. And then, on the flip side, parents, you got to parent. As I said earlier, that starts from zero. You can't start expecting your kids to listen to you if you wait until they 18 and you ain't got no money to help them go to school. You feel me? And so there's a balance with that as well. But yeah, man, quick story. My daughter just graduated recently. And so because I was the first generation in my household, my family, to go to college, I know the game now. And preferably, thank y'all, I was able to pay off my student loans. Took a period of time, but was able to do so. So I'm not talking what I haven't walked. And so it was so much of a burden to me. I made sure not only my daughter, but my son, because that's a whole nother story, because he didn't go to college. Very successful, more successful than most of you guys that went. I digress. With my daughter, she was able to stay at home, go to a state university, and she was able to finish school with no debt. And so again, parents, if you've gone through this experience, if you're paying student loans back now that you don't want to pay for, why would you let your children go into that debt? You see, the borrower is truly servant to the lender. And so parents play a big part, but young adults, you have to listen. It's a blessing to be able to stay at home as long as you can, as long as you have a plan, okay? It can't be kicking it. And some of us have taken that opportunity to try to get away, to feel like we're grown. Well, if you're grown, everybody will know. Here's a jewel for you. If you carry yourself accordingly, that's how people will treat you. That's what I've always taught my kids. And so I respect you as an adult, young adult, because that's how you move. See, a lot of you guys want to be grown, but don't want to deal with the consequences. And in this video, the consequences is your future self having to pay for this debt. Not talking down on you, right? This is to build you up. Consider the full matter before you get into it. And if you're just trying to go to the campus to pledge and turn up, you could do that a lot less expensive, and your future self will thank you for it.
The snowballing crisis has spurred at least some action in Washington, with the newly signed Big Beautiful Bill bringing changes to the federal student loan process. There are limits on some kind of loans, and so how do you think that might help?
Maybe it'll slow down some of the stupidity. It'll turn the volume down a little bit, but they're still playing the music. I mean, they're still making the loans, and they're still not really saying, why are you going to school? Why are you choosing this?
At the end of the day, Ramsey says Americans must learn that the true value of an education comes from the career skills learned, not the institution listed on the degree.
The number one problem that causes student loans is not getting the four-year degree. It's college choice. So you can choose to go to a state school for $12,000 a year tuition right now. You can work while you're in school. You can apply for scholarships, and you can get through that school 100% debt-free. Education is good, but being dumb about education is a bit of an oxymoron.
Very well said, sir. And I agree 100%. Here's the deal. You can get all in a kerfuffle about these politicians. You got the left wing, you got the right wing, pardon me, but they're all attached to the same bird. Let that marinate in your spirit for a little bit. Now, for the rest of us, here's the deal. You gotta stop wanting someone to come and save you. What do I mean by that? There's legislation that's passed that says now, hey, to borrow federal money to go to school, there's a cap on it. Well, if I have to tell you that, then I'm gonna have to tell you the next thing that you're about to get into. At some point in time, it's the mindset. The last video, you guys maybe watch it here, talking about Section 8, because some changes going over there as well. You ought to see all of the comments. It's crazy. And I distill it down to this. It's the mindset. You have turned yourself over for someone to take care of you. Okay? And you feel like it's someone's job to make sure, in this case, I don't borrow too much money. So rules need to be made. There's some protections in place. But at the end of the day, do you not know that you have to pay these loans back? Well, hopefully after watching this video, if you didn't, now you know. And I'm trying to paint as ugly as a picture as I possibly can by showing you some of these things to let you know that it's not cool to be in debt unless you have a plan. And so that's number one. And like he said, what's the why? Why are you going to school? Again, if you're going to get away from your folks to turn up, you could do that a lot less expensive. Stay at home, be grown, be who you are, right? Because it's going to come out in the wash anyway, and you could do so without a lot of debt. Don't go to school for the experience. You have to know why you're going. Number two, all these name brands. I did a story earlier today. Here's the summation of that story. Just because you have a house, or just because I have a house, doesn't mean that I'm better than you. Just because I have a certain name brand car or certain types of clothes doesn't mean that I'm better than you. Okay? And so quit trying to be those types of people. You want to do things because you know the why behind them. I need shelter. My family's growing. I want a good school district. I want peace, serenity. I want a yard. Whatever it is that you want. Why? Same thing with going to school. And then you can choose the proper school, because at the end of the day, do you have the skills to pay the bills? A lot of you guys got degrees and don't know nothing. I could say that because I was one as well. I was like, you know what? I could have just gotten a workforce, because what I do have is the ability to learn. And like one of the homies told me years ago, and I was just thinking, man, this dude is tripping. But to go to certain schools, it's about the network. Shout out to you, Kamari. You were right. So you're choosing wrong. You're going to Bernuk University and coming out with a bunch of pieces of paper that don't mean nothing, because you don't know how to do what it is that you said you did know how to do it, what you went to school for. But there are a bunch of participation pieces of paper. Facts. Because if not, you would be able to step into the workforce, solve a problem, and make an income that's commensurate with what these titles are. So that's my opinion. What's yours on the matter? Get down in the comment section and let's address the issue so that we can all get better. But you got to know why you want to go, okay? And then if you do choose not to go, don't let this shame come about you. But because watch these videos, because the borrower is servant to the lender. Facts. And so some of you guys need to relax and quit thinking less of yourself because you didn't go. And now here's the deal. If you're in this type of student loan debt, I've curated a video from some ladies that are very well qualified and know better than me to speak on the topic. And I would advise that you watch the full podcast and then immediately implement what they're saying, so that your credit is not messed up, so that when you do get ready to buy a house, if that's what you want to do, you don't feel like, dang, woe is me. No, you got to pay your bills. You got to pay your bills. Credit scores matter. They really do. They just don't matter until you want to get something that you want. So, said all that to say that I'm going to put the video in the description, and it's called this. It's called Student Loan Strategy, and it's for social workers. And the professional's name is Lauren Williams. She's a certified financial planner for those of you that like titles. But this CFP actually is about that business, about that life of helping you out. And I'm sure there's a cost associated with it. That's that mindset as well. You always want something free. Got to pay for some things. Church, I digress. If I haven't offended you and you say, you know what, I like your style, man. I like your style. And I do want to get on the housing ladder, but I have student loans and I really don't know where I stand. Well, you're in luck. Here's my offer to you. In the description or the top pinned comment below, there's a consultation link. Let's have a conversation. First 15 minutes is free. It's on me. Only 15 minutes, but it's free and it's on me. And let's discuss what it is that you're trying to do. And then you can interview me and I can interview you to see if we're a fit. And if we're a fit, if we're too legit to quit, let's move forward, devise a plan to help you get on the property ladder the right way so that you know your why, you can enjoy it while you're there, but more importantly, you can also have an exit strategy. Again, contact information either pinned to the top comment or the description below. Before you guys get out of here, if you like this type of content, a little entertainment with some information and education drizzled in, then watch this video right here. And for the rest of you guys, my time is up, but I thank you for yours. As I always say, let us be good to one another. Let grace abound. And until the next time, indeed, y'all stay blessed.